Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel. Here we go with another round of EFL Championship fixtures. It's the first in obviously, as we all know, a very busy Christmas and New Year period, where all of the teams will play 5 games, starting this weekend and ending on the weekend of the 4th, 5th of January. So very busy time ahead for all the teams, which does, as we know, can have a real impact on the league table and will be season defining for some teams. We're nearly halfway through. This is game week 22, effectively. So only over the Christmas period we will be into the second half of the season, and then it really starts to get interesting. So there we go. So what happened last weekend? Well, not a great deal of change in the top and bottom, as you're not going to get that much change now. We're in 20 odd games into the season. Things are starting to settle down with teams sort of parking up where they're almost going to likely to be, you would think. Sheffield United are top still, 3 points clear, could be 5, of course. One of the 2 points they had dropped off, but that's all past tense. So they're 3 points clear of Leeds, and then come Burnley and Sunderland. They're the 4 top teams, separated by 5 points. And then at the bottom, it's Hull propping up everybody at the moment, so it's their turn. And there's 5 teams now. They're not cut adrift by any means, but there's a gap. That's probably the first proper gap there's been. There's 4 points between 19th and 20th. And then we've got the 5 teams I'm talking about are Oxford, Cardiff, Portsmouth, Plymouth, and then Hull at the bottom. So they'll not want to be 5 teams that get cut adrift, because then it becomes 3 from 5, and not a nice feeling when you haven't got too many to chase. So I want to try and bring the group back together and reattach it to the rest of the division. And 4 points is nothing, but especially with 5 games in a quick space of time coming up. But we shall see. So that's where we are. We'll have a little look at who did what as we went from last weekend, as we go through and look at this week's forthcoming fixtures. And it all starts on Friday night on the 20th of December. And we start off with Luton Town against Derby County. Luton had a 2-0 defeat at Blackburn, pretty routine for Blackburn, I think, and they've now won 6 on the trot, so they're really on fire, and they are the form team of the division by a little distance at the moment. So Luton went there and came second, unfortunately, and Derby had an excellent 4-0 win at home to Portsmouth. Which was a bit unexpected after Portsmouth, a good block of results of late against some decent mid-table sides, but fell foul at Derby, and it was all over really by half-time. It was 3-0 after about half an hour or so, I think, if I recall. Certainly 3-0 at half-time, and not really. You don't normally come back, from matches like that, and especially in the manner of the way that they were playing. They weren't getting anything out of Derby at all. So Derby will go to Luton full of hope again after a run of results that took them into sort of sliding into the bottom half. But I think Luton home under lights on a Friday night, everybody in happy mood, Christmas mood, finishing work for a lot of people on that night. It should be a decent atmosphere down at Kenilworth Road. So I'm going to take Luton just to sneak it. Luton 2, Derby 1. Then we have Hull against Swansea going into Saturday. The first of the 3 lunchtime games is Hull against Swansea. Hull are, as I say, unfortunately, the team that is propping up everybody at the moment, with their new manager finding his feet. They slipped to a 2-1 away defeat at Coventry, having been a goal up, as I understand, if I remember. So they went down to Coventry 2-1. Swansea will be still kicking themselves, I'm sure, having established an early 2-0 lead against Sunderland, but failed to capitalise on that, and indeed let it all slip away. And Sunderland turned it all round and went home, started their long journey home, very happy indeed at winning 3-2. So that was a bit of a turnaround. We perhaps weren't expecting when we initially saw the scores. But I think this will be another entertaining match, this one. Hull have got to start getting points quickly now, especially at home, which they really haven't done at all this season. So I think there'll be goals around. Swansea always play an pretty open style of football, don't they? So I'm going to go Hull City 2, Swansea 2 in that one. And the second of the Saturday lunchtime matches, the early ones, is Portsmouth at home to Coventry. And as I say, Portsmouth will be smarting still, I'm sure, from that 4-0 drubbing they had last Friday up at Derby. But back in front of the home fans, well, they've been performing pretty well of late. 2 clean sheets on the bounce against Bristol City and Norwich. 2 sides that, play decent football most of the time. So they did well there, but then this sort of almost revert back to the early season levels of performance for some reason. Don't quite know what happened really, but other than they were way off the pace. Coventry, as I say, had that nick to the home win against Hull, but I think it'll be a tough assignment for anybody going to Fratton Park now. The Portsmouth fans realise they've got to get their points at home, I think. And it'll be a tough one for Coventry. So I'm going to take a draw, though. I think Frank Lampard is starting to perhaps put his thumbprint on the team, and they'll dig in for a draw. So I think it'll be Portsmouth 1, Coventry 1. Then we go to the 3 o'clocks on Saturday, which is Sheffield Wednesday against Stoke. Now, Sheffield Wednesday will be having a very Merry Christmas, irrespective of what happens in this match, I think. From where they were last year, scraping escape from relegation on the last match of the season. And they had a few disappointing results again at the start of this season, but they've now pulled away from all of that. Are sitting nicely in the top 10, just 1 defeat in the last 6, and a decent 3-1 win down at Oxford last weekend. So I think they're in good shape for a home win here against Stoke City, who have just stopped getting results once again. In as much as they haven't won in 6, 3 losses and a draw. The draw stopped the run of losses against Cardiff, but it was probably for them a disappointing result against a fellow struggler. Cardiff are in that block of 5 at the bottom. So it's for me a Sheffield Wednesday win in front of the home fans, a big happy Christmas crowd on Saturday. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Stoke City 0. Then we go to Burnley versus Watford. And 2 sides here that really are going to be difficult to split, I think. Even though Watford are a little bit behind Burnley in the table points-wise, 7 points. But Watford have just keep picking out results when you probably think, are they going to do this yet again? So they've really done well. A lot of people had Watford to be in the bottom reaches of the league this season at the start. A lot of the... that's all of the early predictions. So they're really rubbing salt into that, aren't they? And making light of that. So Watford had a really good win against West Brom last weekend to add West Brom to their number of home scalps. And Burnley had a really good win down at Norwich, even though they conceded a goal, which is a rarity in itself. So it's almost a treasure, isn't it, to see the Burnley defence actually are human after all. Yes, so Burnley let a goal in at Norwich, went 1-0 down, but in true good, the true style of being near the top and used to winning, they came back to win 2-1. So it's Burnley against Watford. I think it'll be back to tight for Burnley, not conceding a goal, doing what they need to do and sneaking the win or getting the win by a 1-0. Burnley 1, Watford 0. On to Cardiff City against Sheffield United. Again, I think this is going to be routine for Sheffield United. They're not slipping up much now. 4 wins out the last 5. A decent, as I say, 2-0 win at home to Plymouth. Plymouth were a little bit more plucky than they have been recently, but Sheffield United was still too good for them. And as I say, Cardiff picked up a point down at Stoke, and I think they were in front as well, if my memory serves me right. So a bit disappointed not to have held on, but they didn't. And I think this is a step too far for them this weekend to expect anything back from this match. I think Sheffield United are just in their zone at the moment, especially when they're playing sides that are in the bottom half, sides they know if they're going to get this automatic promotion, they need to beat. So I'm going to take Cardiff City 1, Sheffield United 3. Then we go to the side that are chasing Sheffield United, Leeds United, and they're home to Oxford. Now, Oxford surprised me a little bit in the week, and I know there's nothing should surprise you in football these days, but Des Buckingham lost his job. He was given, they parted company with him. And if you remember just about this time, a little bit earlier in the season, this time last year, he stepped in from Liam Manning, who went to Bristol City. And when he settled the ship at Oxford, he got them up through the playoffs. And it was a extraordinary end to the season for them. But in football, you've got credit, but not for long. And it soon goes into overdraft. And that's what's happened for Des Buckingham, unfortunately. And he has fallen foul. I think it's 1 win in 18 or 1 win in 16, 17, something like that. I haven't got the stats in front of me, but it's a poor return. But they've taken a big step up. There is a big step these days between League One and the Championship. And they came through late and perhaps were not quite ready for it. You never know as a club. So I think even to, be competing as they are. But they have lost 5 out of 6. They haven't only won 1 game in a very long time. And they lost to Sheffield Wednesday. They probably were looking to get home points out of at least a point, if not more. So it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Des Buckingham was shown the door, unfortunately, and we're just waiting to hear who they are going to appoint. So a daunting task for Oxford anyway, and I think Leeds will just take the points quite routinely. Leeds United 3, Oxford 0. Leeds, of course, dropped, just to mention them, they just dropped a couple of points, didn't they, at Preston last weekend, which was a bit of a surprise. I think they were in front right until the last moments, and Preston got... No, it was Leeds that got the equaliser. Yes, Leeds that got the equaliser. It was Preston that were winning for quite some while. Yes, that's very true. So Preston, as I say, ran them close, but Leeds, like all good sides do, got something out of it, even perhaps when they're not playing so well. So we move on to the last few games on Saturday, first of which is Millwall against Blackburn. I'm taking Blackburn here to chalk up their 7th win, which in the Championship is a mighty feat. Let me tell you guys, as you all know, it's such a difficult league. And to get 7 wins on the trot, if that happens, even to get 6, it is excellent stuff. And they've done it in style, not conceding too many goals. They've sort of rounded their game. A routine win against Luton at home last weekend. Millwall, meanwhile, also parted company with their manager in slightly different circumstances. As far as I can understand it, he chose to leave. But we don't know what the conversations were in the background, do we? Well, some Millwall fans may do, but I don't. And Millwall have had a very strange season. They started really poorly, letting goals in, leaking goals all over the place. Then they really got stuck in and started to churned out some good results, notable results as well, that got them right up to the edge of the playoff picture. And now they've just started to slide again, culminating with the departure of Neil Harris. So it's all a bit strange the way they're going about their season at the moment. 3 losses on the trot now, no win in 6. And with a record like that, the last team you want to face is a team absolutely flying. I don't think it'll be one-sided by any means. I think Blackburn will just sneak it by a goal to 0. I'm going to take Millwall 0, Blackburn 1. Then we head down to Plymouth, and we've got the geographical stretch of the season. It's Plymouth against Middlesbrough. So hats off to the Middlesbrough fans travelling all that way just before Christmas. What a horrible fixture to have, a horrible journey to have. It's a lovely place down at Plymouth, a lovely place to go. And Home Park is a very friendly ground and club to go and visit. So Plymouth, as I say, showed a bit of pluckiness up at Sheffield United last weekend, losing 2-0 even so. However, there was a little bit more of a fight about their away performances, which has been lacking in those meek performances at Norwich and Bristol City when they led in 10, only scoring 1. So I still think it's a tough ask, though, against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough have put 35 goals in the back of the net. They're the second top scorers, yes, second top scorers behind Leeds. And I think they're finding goals quite easy to come by. Plymouth are finding goals quite easy to let in. So I think those two forces combining will see a bit of a decent match. I'm going to give Plymouth Argyle 2, Middlesbrough 3 to take the points back up that long journey home. 3 to go, and we have Queen's Park Rangers against Preston North End. Now, Preston North End, as I say, held Leeds and almost pulled off a famous win for them. But they Leeds just found something at the death to make it 1 each. And Queen's Park Rangers got a draw down at Bristol City, having been completely outplayed, really, but they weren't. The one column that they weren't outplayed in was the goals column, and that's the only one that matters when the final whistle goes. So they got a very fortunate point. It was a complete. I don't know if anyone saw it, but a complete circus of a goal that Bristol City let in. The keeper was almost on the halfway line, and it was all sort of, pantomime season before the pantomime season started down at Ashton Gate last Saturday. But there we go. Queen's Park Rangers clinging to this decent run that they've built. 3 wins, 3 draws, and where they were at the start of the season, I'm sure QPR will be pretty happy with that. Not happy to be in 18th place with only 22 points at this stage, but happy from where they've come from across the season so far. So I'm going to take them to sneak this. 2 sides that have improved recently, albeit with a lot of draws, 18 between them. 21 between them. So they are the two of the draw specialists in the league. But I think QPR will just edge it by 2 goals to 1. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Preston North End 1. 2 to go. The first of those is Sunderland, who will be very happy chaps, having turned around a 2-0 deficit down in South Wales last weekend to come back home with the points and a 3-2 win. Norwich, as I say, just going down the up and down graph at the moment. No consistency at all for them, unfortunately. Scoring goals, but letting them in as well. 68 goals in the aggregate goals in their games to date. So they are if you want to go and watch an entertaining game, it usually is involving Norwich City. And I think this will be a fairly entertaining one up at Sunderland, but I think Sunderland, home form, buoyed by that brilliant comeback last week, and Norwich form a little bit flaky at the moment. I think I'm going to take Sunderland to win. Norwich, of course, went down to Burnley, as we said earlier, but I'm going to take Sunderland to edge Norwich by 2 goals to 1 and send their fans into a happy Christmas. And they're in 4th place as we speak, so they could maintain that if they do win. And last but certainly not least, on Sunday, the 3 o'clock game on Sunday in the Championship is West Bromwich Albion against Bristol City. West Bromwich Albion fell foul of the Watford home record, which is almost impregnable, really, at the moment. And West Brom, as good as they are, just couldn't break it down and get past them. And they ended up losing by 2 goals to 1. And Watford took the points. And Bristol City, I don't quite know. They're just floating around like a bit of a loose end at the moment in the middle of the table. Only 1 win in the last 6. 2 disappointing draws. I say disappointing draws. Drawing away at Sunderland wasn't disappointing, but it was the manner of it. They were 1-0 up with, in only a few minutes of stoppage time left, or if that. And it all went, they dropped 2 points there. And of course, 2 points dropped with a kamikaze goal that they let in against QPR. So there's 4 points that they throw away yet again. It's their nemesis of going in front and not winning games, unfortunately. So what are they going to do? I think West Brom, they don't get much change now. I know I never go, you'll not find me going back over records historically. I think it's the here and now that matters in football. But I will say historically, Bristol City have never had much joy at West Bromwich Albion. And I don't think any joy is going to be forthcoming this weekend for them either. I'm going to take West Brom to take the match by 2 goals to 0. So there we have it, the pre-Christmas entertainment in the Championship. I'm sure there'll be plenty of goals, thrills and spills for us to follow and enjoy. I will wish anybody who's not going to tune in next week for the Boxing Day preview, I'll wish you all a very Merry Christmas and stay safe and stay healthy. For those who will be viewing in and tuning into the channel again before Christmas, we'll be doing a preview for the Boxing Day matches on Monday the 23rd. Well, that's when I will be putting it up. So look out for that. And I will try, or we'll be trying, I'll be making sure that we get a preview for all 4 of these Christmas period games. I'll be shoehorning it in somewhere. So keep your eye on them. Come back to the channel. Keep your eye on all the predictions that all the other lads do as well. It's a fabulous channel and it's growing by the week. So please get your friends and family to like and subscribe. Please offer any comments about what any of us do. We'll always reply. So there we go. For those who I don't see next week, Merry Christmas. For those who I will see tuning in at some point early next week, as I say, it'll go up on Monday the 23rd for Boxing Day, and we'll look at what happened at the weekend. So there we go. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you again very soon. Thanks for watching.